So as soon as they started showing the previews for this, I was instantly worked up. I was like, yes, finally another track and field movie. Being a fellow athlete and a former sprinter, couldn't help but be excited about it. And then on top of that, it's about Jesse Owens, the godfather of sprints. Man, let me tell you, this one hit me right here. Right here. And then on top of that, I got an excuse to make a really nice thumbnail. Cause if I only had 100 fans. So Race is the biography about track legend Jesse Owens, and it tells the story of how he went from local track star to winning 4 Olympic gold medals in the 1936 Berlin Olympic Games. So Jesse Owens was played by Stephen Hopkins, and Coach Snyder was played by Jason Sudeikis, and I think they both did an amazing job. Now, it was great for me to see Jason play something other than a comedic role because it showed that he had range, and it was actually refreshing because I've only seen him in funny stuff. Now, the relationship between these two was phenomenal. I liked it. Being a former athlete, I understand the importance of having a great coach there who pushes you and drives you even when you don't believe in yourself. And you can see that happen often in this movie. Now, not so much on the track, it was more so with the outside pressures that were happening to Jesse. Now, you have to remember, this movie takes place in 1935, back when racial tension was extremely high. And Jesse was coming in, dominating a sport that's been dominated by white men all the way up until that point. So he faced a whole lot of scrutiny for that. Now, Coach Snyder served to kind of keep him level-headed and keep him calm and keep him focused so that he could do what he was really good at, which was run. There's this one really great scene in the movie where Jesse and the team are in the locker room with the coach, and Jesse's starting to get overwhelmed by all the racism that's going on, all the racial slurs. And the coach basically lets him know it's all noise. They're going to like you or they're going to hate you. But either way, it's all noise. And you can see at this point that Jesse makes up his mind like, Coach, you're right. And then the very next scene, he's at this track meet where when he lines up for his first race, everyone's booing him. It's boo, boo, boo. And he's a little nervous. But then he runs and he does what Jesse does and he blows everyone out. Then he goes to his next race and he blows everybody out. And by the third race, it goes from boos to cheers. And at this point, you can kind of get it that like Jesse doesn't care anymore. The racism doesn't bother him. And what Coach said, it is all just noise. So at the same time all this is happening, there's another conflict going on, a bigger conflict, because it's the height of Nazi Germany, and we all know that the games were held in 36 in Berlin, and Hitler was trying to keep Jews and Negroes out of the game. And the U.S. was thinking about boycotting the games because they didn't want to have anything to do with anything racist with the Olympic Games. They wanted to keep it pure and honest and just a competition between the world. So when Jesse gets to the pinnacle of his performances and he's breaking records and he's doing all these phenomenal things on the track, and him and Coach Snyder are preparing for the 36 Olympic Games, he runs into maybe his biggest dilemma of the movie. A member from the NAACP comes over and he basically says, Jesse, the black community is behind you. We love what you're doing, but we don't want you to go to the Olympic Games because you know Nazi Germany and how they're discriminating. They don't want Jews and Negroes in the games. They want to exclude them altogether. So now Jesse's at a crossroads. On one hand, running is all he knows and all he loves, and he's been preparing for this moment, not just for him, but for his family. And on the other hand, he could be a figure for the black community. But Jesse says one of the most profound lines in the movie to me. And he basically tells the member from the NAACP, when you're on the track, you're free. For those 10 seconds, there's no black, there's no white, there's just slow and there's just fast. And I think that just is powerful. And of course, we know Jesse decides to go to the games, and instead of sitting out and sending maybe a message, he goes and dominates in front of the whole world, basically to let Hitler know, you know what, screw you, man. Now, once the actual Olympic Games begins, we all know how it goes. Jesse does what Jesse does. He dominates. And considering that he's a sprinter, his scenes aren't that long, but being a fellow track guy, they were still enjoyable to me. But there is this one particular event that I won't say. Don't want to spoil anything for the people who haven't seen it. There's this one scene where the movie does a really good job showing sportsmanship and building tension and just making the event that much more exciting because, you know, Jesse's a sprinter, so his stuff is over like that. That just shows how the spirit of competition and the spirit of sports can rise above anything. And I think the movie did a good job in portraying that. To summarize, I would say Race was a very enjoyable movie. Had great characters, great acting, and it told a story about a legend that most people probably don't know about unless you're a former track runner, a diehard fan, or you were alive when Jesse ran. I think it did a really good job with the drama and showing the racism and the trials and tribulations that Jesse had to go through, and at the same time giving you a little bit of history that most people probably didn't know much about. So if I had to say what this movie was rating wise, I would definitely say this movie is a movie theater must see. So that about wraps up this review. So let me know in the comments below whether you liked it or hated it. But if you liked it and you thought this video rocks, like and comment below and subscribe to see more from me, Mike Proc. Till next time. Cause if I only had 100 fans, I'd take them all to dinner, talk about the people that